Good morning. Hello from Ruth Stitchery. You know, we've been doing these Meet the Staffs, and I know I've said this a million times, but I know I'm biased, but we have the most fantastic staff, and I want you guys to get to know them a little bit better. So today I'm here with Peggy and Cindy, who I just adore, both of them, and they work so hard, and I just wanted to share a little bit before I start asking them questions. Peggy, you probably see mostly in the front of the store because she's who keeps all of our notions, sometimes patterns, our Kimberbell stuff, everything kind of in the front of the store. She's usually the one that says, hey, we're getting low or we're out and we need to order it. So if you see her, a busy little bee up here, that's what she's doing. She's trying to make sure that we keep everything in stock for all of our customers. And Cindy, you probably see all over the place in this store. She kind of does everything. She is one of our kit cutters, so all these beautiful kits that you see around the store, Cindy is one of the ones that cuts those, and she's very quick and efficient at it. Sometimes I feel like I hand her a piece of paper and like 5 minutes later, she's like, okay, what's next? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I thought you'd at least give me 10 minutes to maybe come up with the next thing. So we're just so blessed to have both of you, and I want everybody to get to know you guys a little bit better. So let's start by seeing how you got into quilting. So Peggy, how did you start quilting? When? What got you into it?
Well, I grew up partly in my grandmother's basement because she had a sewing studio down there. She was a professional seamstress. She made drapes for J.C. Penney's, but beyond that, she made, I believe, most all of her clothes, some clothes for us. There were 4 kids in my family, and so I spent a lot of time with her amongst her 4 or 5 sewing machines. There was a lot going on down there, and she taught.
That was here in Colorado,
yes,
right?
Mm-hmm. I'm born and raised in Denver, and so she taught me how to sew, and started with clothes. The peasant blouses were big.
Oh yeah.
In that time.
They're back.
Yes, they are. I know. But I didn't get into making clothes for myself. So then probably, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, I thought it would be fun to make a quilt when my kids were older. And I didn't have a clue what I was doing other than what my grandmother had taught me, which was, so different because it was cutting everything with scissors, and she made all of her patterns out of paper and whatever she had around the house. So I just kind of piecemealed it and figured it out. And this was before Google. Yeah, however long ago that was.
Way before.
Yeah. So, so I made some quilts, probably 10 or 15 on my own. And then I took a class at Ruth's, the beginning stitching class, quilters class, and learned so much. And now I'm here.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Well, fun. Cindy, how did you get started?
I like different crafts, so I bounce back and forth. I've done cake decorating and wreath making and landed into quilts. And then my world of Google and YouTube helped me learn how to quilt. And then I started coming here, took Kathy's class, and then that's how I ended up here. So it's been about 4 years now. And go from not knowing what a line of fabric is to where I'm at now, which is quilting in the hoop. From to embroidery to quilting in the hoop. So it's been a big avenue for me.
Yeah. Cindy has taken off fast with lots of things. So I think it's funny. So a lot of staff probably have said, well, then I took beginning quilting with Kathy at Ruth's and now I work here. And so I think maybe people don't realize that it's actually a recruiting class. Yeah. It isn't really intended that way, but it does happen that's how sometimes it happens. Either the beginning quilting class or another class, you take here, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, what do you do during the day? Can you?
It's like home.
Do
You
you
want to live
start?
here.
Exactly.
Worked
It's
on me for a year.
fun place. Yes, sometimes it doesn't happen right away, but
No.
we're very blessed to have both of you here. So tell us what if you have a favorite style of fabric or designer, pattern designer, fabric designer, or style. Do you guys have a favorite, something you lean toward?
I lean towards sweet and whimsical, I guess, fabric. So I do like Bunny Hill. I like Lella Boutique. I like some Tilda. And unbeknownst to me, I'm kind of starting to getting used to liking Tula. The last line that came in, I'm like, oh, I kind of like those elephants. Oh, I kind of like the hippopotamus. So
Yeah.
I'm changing, right? And so, yeah, I guess those are some of my favorites.
Yep.
I like a little bit of everything. I think Moda is really one of my favorites now that I've kind of
The fabric,
the fabric line in general.
As a company, their designers are who you gravitate toward.
Yes, but my biggest is Christmas, red, white, and blue, and Halloween. Like those are my three. Anything with that, I'm like, oh,
Yes.
gotta do it.
Yes, we see a Christmas or a Halloween line, and we're like, Cindy will probably make a sample out of those.
Probably will.
Yes. But Peggy brings up a good point. I think our styles change over time. I certainly think working in a store like this, where you see everything, you start, everything starts turning your head.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what could I do with that? What could I do with that? Okay, so I know this is a really difficult question, but they brought lots of show and tell, so I'm really excited about that. But if you have a favorite, so is one of your show and tells kind of what you would consider your favorite quilt, or one of your favorite quilts?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll start with Peggy. So first show us, just show us what you brought, and then you can kind of tell us a story about them.
So,
and we can help.
yeah, I don't have to open it all the way up, but
Okay.
this was the last quilt that my grandmother made,
Oh.
and she lived to be 96, and she quilted, I mean, into her 80s, I would say, but it's just, to me, it can bring tears to my eyes. Hope I don't tear up, but so to me, it's just love. I mean, that's. I guess for me, quilting is almost more about the love of it than the art. It certainly is artistic, but when I look at this, I see clothes that my grandmother made me. There's this down here, and so she made the apron, but then you see all the fabrics in all of the other places on the quilt. So I can see she wore a lot of polka dots. So, when I look at that, I just see her face and her warmth and her love. And she made all of my grandpa's pajamas. She made, So to me, quilting is just like giving your heart, because it's all your time, your energy, and to me, it's just love.
Yes.
So,
And I know that when Peggy makes something for somebody, she's really putting all of her love for that person into what she's making. And
sorry.
it's supposed to be. And oh my gosh, if you guys could feel this.
It's
I
soft.
mean,
It's soft.
it's soft. So I can
Loved.
totally understand.
And everything by hand, she didn't have
With
the rotary.
no templates.
No templates. She made, of course, all of her own. So, it just amazes me how she did her little curves and everything by hand. And
Yep. Oh, I just love it. Thank you. All right. So we'll just stay with you and show us what
Okay.
else you brought. Here, I'll take this and put it over
Thank
here.
you. So then I also do a lot of machine embroidery, and I got into that about 10 years ago. I was in a store with my husband, and we walked past this embroidery machine that was going, and he goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, it's an embroidery machine." And he said, "Do you think you'd like one?" And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, yeah. I never thought he'd go for it. And so I said, yeah. And so he goes, well, do you think you'd really use it? And I'm like, yeah.
So boy, does she
now he
use
can't
it.
get me off of it.
Try not to do
But,
happy dance.
but this is my favorite Kimberbell. It's
Oh
the
my
Candy
gosh, I
Corn
love
Quilt
it.
Shop, which came out 2 years ago. And it's just so cute with the
It is
bundles
so
of fabric.
cute.
And
Oh.
they're here lies empty bobbins. Oh my gosh, you have to. This is just to die for. Yeah, love it.
Oh,
Next time
here
next
lies all
time
my
I-
scraps.
Yep. Sit and stitch a spell.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's my favorite
I love it.
Kimberbell one so far.
I know,
And
I know I say this all the time. My birthday's on Halloween, and you'd think I'd have a million Halloween quilts, but I don't. But
you would. Yeah, you'd think so.
and then count the ones that I
do you
have.
think she'd notice if this one
Oh
disappeared?
yeah, that one definitely.
And then
Yeah.
this is just the latest. We're doing a class at Ruth's called Cuties, Kimberbell Cuties, which are a collection of table toppers. And so this is the one that I just finished. So they're really cute. Look at
And-
the back.
And
And
the
then
back
next
is
there's some
Tula.
Imagine.
Kimberbell and Tula.
Yeah.
And then the next 6 months are coming